Check out our new ebook, Explorations of Rum, at homecocktailmenu.com/shop. Welcome to Comment Cocktails. I'm your host, Derrick Schommer. Here with me, Justin, and we're not drinking cocktails yet. We're drinking beer. And that's what we do because people seem to like beer episodes on the cocktail show. So,
perfect.
We're going to drink, what are we drinking? Was it Stone?
This is Stone, and this is actually a pretty full flight of Stone's IPA offerings. And we're going to go kind of up in ABV, we're going to go up, probably up in flavor. We got their Goto Session IPA, their regular classic IPA in cans now, just newly canned. Their Delicious IPA, which is
It's really called that.
Yeah, it's literally called Delicious IPA.
I didn't even read any of these but this one because I was so weird by the enjoy by dates.
Their Double IPA and then their Enjoy by IPA.
It literally says Enjoy by and then 37 days. This must take them forever to create new labels all the time.
Yeah, they do Enjoy by it's not every month, but it's mostly every month. It's usually like 9 or so months out of the year. And it's on certain dates. They'll have one like Enjoy by 2/14 for Valentine's. Right. 3/14 for Pi Day, 4/20. You can connect the dots there.
That does all make sense.
4th of July, cool. Halloween, Christmas Eve.
Brewers have a good sense of humor.
Yeah,
they have to. I guess.
Yeah, they love playing a lot. They love playing around with stuff. So that's a good series. And I haven't had the 7-4. So
7-4 because so is every one of these different if the dates are different?
They're slightly different. They might throw in
that makes like a
one different hop or take out one different hop or play with the malts or something like that.
This says Session IPA. I've never heard of a thing.
Pretty much a low ABV IPA.
It's got a bouquet going on.
It's dank, especially for a session.
But this has that IPA look and feel to me. Like this has what you would expect an IPA. It's got the dry, like herbal.
Kind of herbal.
Yeah, I guess it's greeny.
That kind of
bitter.
floral.
Yeah, a floral bitter flavor. That's probably it.
Yeah.
It's got that strong floral bitter, the bitter that lingers for like 30 seconds. This is the type of drink that I could drink. I don't have a problem with this one except for I drink them slower. Striking IPA bitterness.
Yeah, and that's really kind of session IPAs weren't really a thing when IPAs started to become popular, and now they've started to become kind of their own branch of IPAs because people wanted the same amount of flavor with less ABV, which also equates to less.
That breaks the cardinal rule of history on this, doesn't it? I mean, the IPA. It's India Pale Ale because it needs to make it long distances.
Correct.
Right? So to get the long distances, you need lots of alcohol and the bitterness to keep everything away.
Correct. And
so you're basically saying, no, short distances.
Yeah. Now they're saying short distances, low ABV.
Same flavor.
It's flip-flopped. Yeah,
right. Same
flavor.
We want everything the way it is, but we want more of them because we don't need to follow the force so quickly.
Exactly.
And I mean... That is just this is a birth of the culture we're in, where we have flying, we have fast trains. You have such a way to get from place to place that you don't need to have high alcohol for safety concerns.
Right.
People now drink high alcohol for drunken concerns. Just pure drinking, not because they have to. Well, it exists because people like it. And that has not that much aroma to it.
Yeah, it's not too...
That's really good. This is an IPA?
Yeah. And this one...
This is intro to IPA level IPA.
It kind of is.
Stone IPA.
Which will sound weird to anybody watching that is a big beer drinker, because Stone is a powerhouse in craft beer. But and they love IPAs. They love big, bold flavors. But this is... Quite frankly, it's a pretty balanced IPA.
It's got flavor, no doubt. It's not water.
Yeah, and this I believe is, I'm pretty sure it's an original recipe from when they opened in 1996. This has been, and it even says right across the top of the can, our iconic West Coast style IPA. So this has been a long time player.
That's the way IPAs in the U.S. probably were in that time period, probably before. Yeah. They have a little bit of bitterness. They have the citrus flavor. They have a slight bouquet of aroma, but they're not really strictly big dry hop. It tastes smells like a beer. But easy, approachable, slight bitterness.
Yeah, and this is 6.9. So
it's gonna hurt you.
But it drinks up pretty good. Now the Delicious IPA, I think this was This came out last year or something like that, and it's
like
brewed with, is it Eldorado and lemon?
I don't like the smell at all.
Lemon drop and Eldorado hops. So these are two kind of, I don't know, what you might call modern hops. Probably crossbred hops.
Yeah.
This was kind of, they brewed this to be a quote-unquote gluten-free alternative, but they couldn't call it gluten-free because...
It's got wheat?
No, it's...
Got gluten?
It doesn't have gluten, but
they don't want
it
to
did have gluten. The gluten was like, the gluten that is in this beer gets consumed as it ferments.
But they can't guarantee that, right?
Right, they can't guarantee it, and apparently...
Apparently
government law says that you can't call it gluten-free if it ever had gluten in it, even if it doesn't anymore.
This is this is similar to why you can't buy 120-minute dogfish head in New Hampshire, because they cannot guarantee what the ABV is going to be.
Right.
So they said, New Hampshire said, well, then you can't carry that.
Yep.
Well, why don't they just put whatever the max is going to be? Like, nope,
right.
The rules say that sucker has to test out to that percentage every single time.
Yeah.
If you can't sell it here. So if you're having a hard time getting 120 dogfish head, which I had, it's kind of like Johnny Walker Black or Johnny Walker Blue. It's neat, but
it's also boozy as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like 14%.
Yeah. I mean, it's...
I don't like the smell at all. I think it smells like vomit.
It does have a little bit of kind of...
Like a bile...
Like a... Kind of an acidity to it.
It's lemon, yeah. I mean, it's the lemon acidity, but it's very... The smell of the citric... I don't know.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, lemon drop hops brings a little bit of lemon flavor, as one might expect.
But other than that, it's fairly light. It's not too bitter.
Yeah, it's not too bitter. I
wouldn't call it delicious.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that would define as in a beer term of delicious, but it's fairly easy to drink. Again, I'd lean towards this one, even though it's probably going to kill me compared to whatever.
Well, it's 7.7.
Never mind.
So we're still going up.
The aroma turns me off. The lemon doesn't do anything for me, but at the same time, there's very few lemon-forward flavored drinks that I can deal with. Shandies, for some reason, I'm fine, but when it comes down to like the lemon, what was that? The shock top? Nothing.
Yeah, the lemon shandy.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, it's a little bit different than a regular IPA. It's really good for if you do have a gluten intolerance. I mean, if you've ever had...
If you're going to break out in hives or whatever happens to gluten people.
Yeah, and if you've ever had other offerings of gluten-free beer, they tend to be disgusting. Oh. So this for a reduced gluten...
You're setting the bar low on that one. Yeah. Everything else is really horrid.
So compared to others in this kind of vein, this is really good. This is a double 8.5.
It says IPA 2.0.
Yeah. This, again, another previously original recipe was Stone Ruination IPA. And last year they decided that there's just been so much change in what people look for in IPAs and the hops that are available and the methods to brew the beer that they said, we need to redesign this recipe. So they kept the name because it had been synonymous with big, bold, powerful, double IPA.
It's also marketing, good for marketing.
Yeah. So they wanted to keep the name, kind of have that nostalgia and that kind of goodwill already built up with customers, but they redesigned the recipe and just released it as
So is that the
2.0? Yeah, that's the 2.0.
Not because it's a double, but it is.
Right.
But it's 2.0. Like
Correct.
Literally the second version.
That's the second version.
Again, have you had that?
I have.
It's not that bad. Like I double IPAs. As a novice, not really a novice beer drinker on taste, but on naming and all the, I understand it, but I just don't really have enough capacity because I have all this other crap I have to learn.
Right.
That I get it. It's just when I hear double anything, I'm always like, this is gonna hurt. Either alcohol, bitter, something.
Double the pain.
And it doesn't have. I mean, it has the pain in the end, but it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't taste super bitter. It's a little bit more bitter than this. I still think this one has more bitterness than this double IPA 2.0 recipe.
And which could be because with a low ABV, you don't need a lot of malts. So the hops are going to shine through a little bit brighter, and that could be what that is.
Typically, from what my dad says anyway, when he has lots of hops, he uses lots of hops when he has lots of alcohol. And that's the only way you can bring those two guys together.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell when there's an imbalance because bad things happen. You get something super bitter or wildly alcoholic flavor. And the way I've looked at it is if something is over hopped or extra hopped and you don't taste the hops, it's going to kick you on your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just drink right through it and you won't even really notice.
Yeah. And you fall down.
Correct.
But I would say out of these thus far, I like this one. That one's a little much now that I've had this. But again, it would just take a while to drink.
Yeah.
This is probably safer in the end. And than the 37.
Yeah, and you might pick up similar notes in that as to what you did in Ruination.
Well, I'm gonna go with this, and again, don't take it literal, but there's a little kitty litter.
Yeah.
Not like dirty kitty litter, but just the kitty litter, whatever kitty litter is made out of.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious to try this too.
I
haven't tried this batch of Enjoy By. That's what you're saying.
It's just it's not a turnoff, but it's intriguing. You're like, huh? It's light.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. This must be up.
It still has a little citrus going.
9.4. 9.4. So that one's the.
It's light.
So we went up. Yeah.
No, it was like rocket. Yeah, you're up there. You're at like almost table wine status. Yeah. You're only like 3% away from what you get if you go to Olive Garden and they pour you the sample. Right, you're there.
Yeah, and again, bitter on the back end as an IPA is going to be. It's not too bitter up front.
It's not that bad.
What I've started to get in Enjoy By as a series, because those are released on different dates throughout the year.
Yeah.
It's become a popular thing because one of the huge things with IPAs is freshness. Because if you let it sit around for 4 or 5 months, it tastes nothing like it did when it was first brewed. IPAs deteriorate very fast, so they want you to drink this really fast, really fresh, before it's past this date. And this date is only 37 days after brewing.
It's like when somebody brings over cupcakes. Within the first couple days, you get that nice sponginess. By the third day, it's kind of hard, but it's still a cupcake. Yep.
It's still
enjoyable.
I
still like the frosting. And by like the 5th day, I'm just licking off the frosting and throwing the rest of the cupcake away. Maybe I'll take a bite. Like there's still tolerable levels, but at the same time, I don't know if I could tell you there's a 37 in a 49 or 50 day.
Brewers will even do that too. Like I don't know how long this sits in a tank before it's bottled.
Yeah, sure.
But even
they might figure out what that optimal days and then go from here. The counting starts.
Yeah, and even. You look at beers like Heady Topper, right? Iconic Vermont IPA, double IPA, and they want you to drink it super fresh as soon as you get it in the can, but that sits in the tanks for like 4 weeks.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's still a month old when it hits the can.
Right. They have a sweet spot of time, and that's where they start it, and that's where they end.
And from whatever time it's canned or bottled or anything like that, the sweet spot after that is those first 3 months. And the closer to the canning or bottling date that you can get, the better. Right. And a good thing about Stone is a lot of breweries they'll go no date. You don't know how do I know when this was canned? How do I know when it was bottled? And you won't know when it's fresh. These guys will put a bottle on date and then also an Enjoy By date a lot of times.
Just so
on every bottle.
If you're going by your own personal measurement, if you like the closer to bottling, you can pick that date. If you want the Enjoy By where they think it's going to be the best.
But when you have somebody that instead of putting an Enjoy By date, because how do I know when it was canned or bottled? Right. Breweries that put a bottle on or canned on date, they give you kind of that automatic freedom to choose. All right, how long do I want to let this sit around before I drink it?
Right. For me, it's 2 to 3 years. Yeah. Some people.
For a lot of people, it's
it's a day. Yeah. Well, people buy beer; they're not going to just buy it. I do, but most people don't buy it and put it in the refrigerator hoping somebody's going to come over and drink it.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Unless it's if it's the right style, you can sell it for years, and it's actually going to get better within those first few years. But these kinds of beers, you want to drink fast, soon, because that's when they have their most flavor as soon as they hit the bottle.
Makes sense. Which
is why it's great that these have bottled on dates, and particularly why I want to take a look at Stone was these are national distribution.
Right.
They're a craft brewery. I think they were 7th or 8th largest craft brewery in the country before they opened Richmond and before they opened Berlin. So I don't know what they're going to be now. They're going to be, up near the top, but they still produce, very good beer, very quality beer.
I don't think I've ever had one. So there you go. That is Stone. If you want to try out their IPA line, that is, I'll give you my high level. I would go with the version in the can because it's tasty. and it's an IPA for somebody like me that's not strictly into big, bold, huge flavor, easy mouthfeel, everything. That one is good for those that want to like IPAs, but they also want to have a party, and they don't want to be drunk by 8:30 at night. Then it all goes downhill from there. Like if you're drinking this beer, this is the type of beer when I go over my father's house and my brother's going to be there and other people who drink beer, in a big bottle, I bring one of these, and I'm like, and what happens is everybody, it's like an unwritten thing. Like my father will have one because he just does. My brother will bring one, so we'll just pour all the way around, and then we'll have the other person pour all the way around, and then you get to experience cool beer without having to spend tons of money.
And without having to drink that whole bottle yourself.
That you die.
That's a heavy bottle.
So this is like a wine type you hand around to all your friends and everybody gets to experience it type of thing. Yeah. And that I think falls in line. So I would probably go this one, then this one, and then probably this one. Yeah. I might even pick IPA over that. I just don't know. I don't know about the aroma. It's not kind of drunk.
Yeah, question of the day.
Question of the day. Yes, I'd love one.
Are beers best cold or room temperature?
Oh, people will cut you for that one. Cold or room temperature? How do you enjoy your beer? If you're in London, probably they drink cold or is it room temperature? I think they drink room temperature in England, right?
I kind of like them at a more of a medium. To let them get, if you're drinking them super chilled, you're
45 degrees.
Yeah, you're gonna lose some of the flavor. Even you take it out of the fridge 45 and let it warm up a little bit. I mean, these are kind of.
So
these are chilled. They're not super cold.
So they were cold when they came, warm by the time we got to them.
Yeah, you can taste a lot of the flavors, but they're not too warm to where, they feel kind of flat.
Right.
Too flat.
That's a good flavor. That's good. They'd probably be colder normally because they'd be pulling them out of the fridge.
Yeah.
If you're having buddies over and stuff, but that's.
Yeah, these are pretty good temps.
I like the temperature right there.
Yeah.
That's it. We're teaching you how to drink. And it reminds. It reminds me of Corona.
Yeah, no. I know where you're going with it. I mean,
it's much more full body than a Corona, because Corona almost if you let this go sour,
it's a Corona.
It's a Corona.